Hey VC, what's up? Wes here checking in with another Survivor. I think we're on 16 now. Uh, it's Monday right now when I'm recording this, and I have the week off from work, so that's awesome. It's been a while since I had a good block of time just to relax, and it has been a busy, rough summer for me. So I'm just gonna try to relax this week, listen to more music than I would normally listen to, maybe get a few projects here and there done, and basically just enjoy myself. So I hope you all are doing well. Finally getting a little bit of fall-like weather here in Florida. It's still well into the 80s, but getting down into the 50s at night. So that's nice. That's more to my liking as far as weather is. I know you guys up north hate the winter, but the summer here just drags on and on and on, and it I'm sure it gets to be just as annoying as the winter is. That it just drags on and on and on. It's so hot you don't even want to go outside. So it's nice to be able to go outside and not be drenched in sweat, even if it's the middle of the night. But anyway, enough about the weather. Enough of jibber jabber in here. Got a couple piles of records here. We'll start off with the stuff that didn't make it. First one here is something I'm disappointed that didn't make it. This is Mama Cass, Bubblegum and Lemonade, something for Mama. And the cover on this is beautiful. No seam splits. It's pretty much near mint, I would say. The record is just, the grooves are just trashed. I mean, it looks great. It looks fine when you look at it. There's no scratches or anything. But man, when you play it, it sounds horrible. And actually, I got a little handheld sort of microscope that I picked up at a thrift store recently, and I was looking at the grooves, and you can kind of see where it's like messed up in spots. So unfortunately, somebody wrecked this one on a cheap turntable, cheap stylus. It's bubblegum sort of poppy music, so typically it would be played on a cheaper system, I would imagine. So unfortunately, this one does not get into the collection, and it's sad. If somebody needs a really nice cover for this album, let me know. I got it, but there's no sense in playing this one. Okay, the next one that didn't make it, I wanted to work in some of these albums I picked up at the Orlando Record Show recently, because a lot of times when I do large hauls like that, it tends to just get shelved into my to be listened to stuff, and the new stuff moves to the back. So the stuff I'm showing that I'm listening to is stuff I bought years ago, probably. So just want to try to throw in some stuff that I've bought recently, and this is something that I listened to and I really didn't like. This is Blue Oyster Cult's Extraterrestrial Live from '78, I think this is, or '82. Sorry, '82. Getting my years mixed up. But yeah, I mean, it's a Blue Oyster Cult double live album. It's got all the big hits. It's got Don't Feel the Reaper and Cities on Flame, and Godzilla, Burning for You. They do a cover of Roadhouse Blues, which is not good. Yeah, there's parts where the music is good, the music is not good. The main issue I have with this is the recording is just, it's bad. It's terribly echoey recording. It's almost like, it's not quite as bad as maybe a crowd recording, but it almost has that sort of tinny, echoey quality to it, and I don't know, it's just not good. It was not well recorded at all. I don't know why they didn't. It's almost like they recorded this, with microphones just pointed at the speakers, and rather than plugging into the soundboard and recording that way. So I really just don't like that feel. I want a more sort of professional feel to it, and that just doesn't work for me. So that one's not going to make it. Next up, we got that didn't make it. I kind of figured this wouldn't make it just because of the condition, but I was hoping it would be okay. But it's Kool Moe Dee's Wild Wild West 12-inch single. Yeah, it's got some scratches on it, and it skipped in a few spots, so that one unfortunately did not make it. Next up is something that I thought I would like, and it just didn't do anything for me at all. It's Everything But the Girl, Love Not Money. So promo copy. Yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. Probably put this one in my Discog store because I know there are a lot of fans of this group out there, and somebody will probably want that. Next thing that didn't make it, we have a Stanley Jordan album here, Flying Home. I already have a few Stanley Jordan albums in the collection, and I've decided I don't need more. This was sort of so-so. He does a pretty decent cover of Stairway to Heaven. I think was probably my favorite song on here. But yeah, it just wasn't anything that really stood out a lot for me. That won't be making it in the collection. Next thing that didn't make it, we have Eric Clapton. This is No Reason to Cry. I see this one a lot in like thrift stores and dollar bins and whatnot. And it just didn't do anything for me. I'm not a huge Eric Clapton fan. You know, I like some of his stuff. I like Cream and stuff like that. A few things here and there, but I'm not a total completist when it comes to Eric Clapton. I like certain things and I don't like other things. But this one, don't really see any need to keep that. Next thing that didn't make it was something I bought on 10 Cent Day at the library sale a couple years ago now. This is Tony Mottola, Roma Ogi, Rome Today. This is sort of loungy guitar music. Yeah, it's a cool cover. That's why I grabbed it. I figure for 10 cents it's worth a shot. But I just don't see myself listening to this anymore. So that one didn't make it. But if you're into loungy sort of guitar kind of stuff, then you might like this. Maybe Chris would like this. I don't know. And the last thing here I have that didn't make it. We got a Pete Seeger, America's Balladeer on Olympic Records. This is sort of one of those budget labels, I think, and they threw together there's some live tracks on here and some other sort of recordings, and then it's been electronically turned to stereo, so it just doesn't sound that good, and there's not anything on here that I think isn't on other recordings of his that are better quality. So I'm not going to be keeping this one, but it was a fun listen. That's all the stuff that did make it. Now on to the stack of good stuff here. Lots of good stuff in this one. I'm really enjoying some of these, so let's go ahead and get into it before we get too far. We got Eurythmics soundtrack to the movie 1984. Very, very cool soundtrack. Especially side B. I like the whole entire side B. The first side is a little more poppy. The side B is a little more experimental. Just really, really cool soundtrack. And it's Eurythmics, and they're kind of at the height of their career here, and really, really good. Really good stuff. Highly recommended, and that's a dollar bin thrift store kind of find, and definitely recommend getting that if you're into sort of electronic music or pop music, 80s pop music. Next up is a Chicago album, because I am a Chicago completist. You know, this is 80s stuff, so I'm okay with Chicago 80s music. I mean, it's definitely not as good as their late 60s, early 70s stuff, but this is Chicago 19. Very cool album art. I do like the sort of digitized sort of album art to that. I really do like that cover. And it's got Look Away, What Kind of Man Would I Be, I Don't Want to Live Without Your Love. Just, you know, huge hits on here, but definitely going to be keeping that. Next one, a killer sort of soul R&B album, Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway on Atlantic Records. Very, very cool. So they sort of take turns singing songs, and there's some duets on here. I really should have showed this in Memphis Final Jim and the Mrs. Duets album. I hadn't listened to it yet, but this is an amazing duet album. Killer album. Not too hard to find, so if you see this, definitely pick it up. You should be able to find it in dollar bin, thrift store kind of thing. This will turn up occasionally there, so grab that one if you see it. Next up is a classic. We've got the soundtrack to Shaft, Isaac Hayes. Not much needs to be said about this. I think most people know it pretty well. Really fun soundtrack here, and I definitely enjoyed listening to this and definitely want to listen to it again in the future. Next up is something I didn't expect to like as much as I did. This is another one that was sort of a surprise for me. This is Dave Mason is Alive. Really good stuff on here. And it is a Blue Thumb for David there. I'm sure he has that one. I think he's shown it before. Alright, next up we have some sort of 90s electronic glitch music. This is Oval with 94 Discount. It's the name of the album. 2 album set on Thrill Jockey. Just really cool, sort of chill, like glitchy electronic music. Really cool stuff. I used to love to play this when I was going to bed at night. Just really cool sort of stuff to have as background noise to go to sleep or do whatever. But just, yeah, very cool. Glad to finally get that one cleaned up and into the collection officially. Next up is another classic, the soundtrack to Dune by Toto. And there's one track by Brian Eno on here. Really good music. I actually still have not seen this movie. I need to see it at some point. But going by the soundtrack, it seems like a pretty cool movie. And I definitely enjoyed the soundtrack a lot. Alright, next up here's another one from the Orlando Record Show that I really enjoyed. I need to find a nicer copy of this. This is Arlo Guthrie's Running Down the Road. Very cool. Of course, it has Coming into LA on here. I'm trying to think what... It's kind of funny because there's one song on here. It's a very sort of psychedelic. I can't think... It's either the next to the last song, Stealin', or the last song, My Front Pages. Very, very sort of psychedelic rock sort of sound to it. Not typical Arlo Guthrie stuff. According to what I was reading online, the album company asked him, I guess, to make something that they thought would sell, and they tried to sell that as the hit, and then it turns out the hit was Coming into LA, which is pretty much standard Arlo Guthrie sort of fun folk music sort of stuff. So yeah, that was kind of funny that the track that they wanted to be a hit is actually very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it was cool to hear that. Something I wouldn't have heard unless I was around when this album came out, when they were trying to promote it, and it sort of fell by the wayside, and everybody knows Coming into LA. But so that was a cool discovery. Definitely love this album, and I definitely need to find a nicer copy of this. This one has some splits on it and some ring wear, and so looking for an upgrade to that. Next up, another one from the Orlando Record Show that I really enjoyed. This is ZZ Top's Fandango. Side A is a live recording, and side B are some new songs. The most well-known probably being Tush. Blues, rock, ZZ Top, typical stuff, really good. The live recording is really, really good, really just like a big long jam. Cool stuff, recorded in New Orleans. I always say it wrong. Alright, next up is a fun sort of another soundtrack, musical soundtrack. We have the soundtrack to The Wiz. Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, and I'm blanking on the other people who are in here. But yeah, very fun, very fun soundtrack to listen to. Another big time soundtrack. We got a lot of soundtracks in this batch. We got, of course, Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, I guess. The first Star Wars movie we all know, we all love. You know, great music. This one doesn't have the poster in it, so always on the lookout for one with a poster. It's probably nearly impossible to find one with the poster still in it, but maybe someday one will turn up. I'm also looking for the other two, Episode 5 and Episode 6 soundtracks on vinyl. That would be cool to have. Another John Williams soundtrack. We got Raiders of the Lost Ark. I really do enjoy listening to soundtracks. It's sort of a condensed way to relive the movie without actually sitting down and watching the movie. You know, you can have it playing while you're doing stuff, and sort of, you know these songs so well that you can sort of picture the scene in the movie that particular song is from, and it's just a really fun way to relive the movie in a shorter time period and without being tied down to have to watch a movie. Next up, we got a comedy album, Bill Cosby's 200 Miles an Hour. probably me being a car, since I'm a car guy, probably one of my favorite Bill Cosby pieces. Just hilarious stuff. Talking about cars and a car that Carroll Shelby built for him that scared him a little bit. But yeah, fun album, very clean copy. Really happy to have this in the collection. And next up, last night I watched a documentary about Robert Moog. Very cool. It's on Netflix streaming. Check it out if you're interested at all in anything sort of electronic or synthesizer or anything prog. If you're into prog or anything like that, you definitely want to watch this very cool documentary. So after that was over, this was next in line to be listened to, so I immediately switched over to the turntable and threw this on. This is Isaiah Tomido, live at Lynn's, Mind of the Universe. A live performance he put on, just very cool. It transferred really well to the vinyl as far as experiencing this performance. So I would imagine live it was probably pretty incredible. Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. Very cool. All right, last but not least, another sort of synthesizer electronic based thing. This is something I picked up in Orlando when Jim and the Misses were down. This is Synergy's Chords on Passport Records, 1978. Very good. Very good electronic sort of, I don't know what you would call it, experimental music. Love the artwork on this album. I've seen it also with a yellow sort of light through here. Got the World Trade Center here, which is I thought was pretty interesting to see that there. And also this album is pressed on clear vinyl, which is cool. So yeah, that's a batch of what I've been listening to lately, what I liked, what I didn't like. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments down below of what you think of any of these that I've showed, or if you want to hear more about any of them, if you're curious about any of them. So thank you for watching. Be well, and we'll see you again real soon, BC. Cheers.